Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Hopefully you had a great start to your week. We have a lot to break down today. The Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco cast is breaking their silence about this Caroline Manzo Bravo lawsuit, which we'll get into it. There's been some speculation on whether or not Kyle and Morgan Wade have ended their friendship / possibly relationship. So we'll get into all of that. And then the LA Times just released a new teaser of Erika Jayne meeting the victim. So get ready for it. Let's get it. Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered convos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered. And yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. Woo, woo. Apologies, guys. I know I'm a little later than usual today. I am sorry. I was having some Wi-Fi connectivity issues, and I realized I don't know where my modem's at. I don't even know how to find it. I was like digging through closets. I was like looking in the laundry closet. I was looking I don't know where they installed the Wi-Fi. It's somewhere in the apartment. Because I was like, oh, you unplug it and then you replug it. And so no, that didn't work and that didn't happen. So we just were praying that the Wi-Fi was going to resolve itself, and now it has. So thank you, Jesus. Connections have been off today, but it's okay because we're here. We're ready to get it. We're ready, Freddie. And yes, okay, so you guys will recognize I am wearing my Quince motorcycle leather jacket. I kept saying, I think I want to buy it. I think I want to buy it. I think I want to buy it. And everyone was like, get it, get it, get it. It's really nice. I have to say, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Thank you for pushing me into actually making the purchase. Couldn't find the router. That's something that happened to me for sure. I literally could not find it. I was looking high and low. I was asking all the homeless. I was asking all the toothless. Nobody could help me. So unfortunately, I love this new room. Oh, I thought you said new moon. I was like, is there a new moon? But there's not a new moon. She said new room. Okay. Oops. Let's not do that. Okay. That said, I think, sorry, I have to move that out of the way because that looks ugly. Where should we start? Okay. There may be some spotty Wi-Fi connection issues with the YouTube live streams. If you're watching this live on YouTube, I do apologize. The full clean audio will be up on the podcast shortly after this, so you will be able to just listen to it without any interruptions, or the full video with clean audio will be available on Spotify later today as well. So there you go. That got to ask building management. No, building management didn't install my Wi-Fi. I had AT&T come in to install my Wi-Fi. They don't know where my personal Wi-Fi router is. Come on, guys. Okay, let's start with Erika, because the LA Times, or actually it wasn't the LA Times, it was Dave Quinn from People Magazine released a clip of Erika the day she went to go meet with all of the victims out in the valley. And it's oh my God, what is his last name? Matt Walsh? Matt Walsh, is that his name? He writes for the LA Times. He's the one that's been writing all of the big exposés on the Girardis, okay? He has since come out, and I guess he released a clip of Erika saying, oh, this is the first time Erika is going to meet with the victims. And so you see her walking in and she sits down and they ask her, have you seen The Housewife and the Hustler? And she says, yes, I saw the documentary. And then it kind of cuts there. So Dave Quinn shared that. And then I saw the Bravo Babe shared that. I was there that day. I was at that restaurant when she was meeting with the victims. A few of us were right outside. And listen, it was quite the emotional day. I did speak to some of the victims afterwards, and they all said that they felt like there was some sort of resolve. They felt like, Erika really heard them. They got to understand her a little bit better. I believe after that event, they were planning on they were all trying to go on a trip to go to Vegas for Erika's residency. because this happened over the summer. It's crazy that it's been this long since they've released that. I wonder if the timing of it is because now they were waiting for Beverly Hills to start airing and waiting for something to be a little more relevant. And now that Erica's talked about the earrings, yeah, that maybe now they thought that this was the best time for the best traction. I'm not really sure, but I do remember, a lot of them walking out of that meeting with Erica, and they felt like there was some sort of, point of connection that they had made with her, and they were able to really understand where she's coming from, and they felt heard, according to her. So, and that's from my own interactions with them that day. And I asked Erica about it when she was on the podcast a couple months ago. So you can watch that and you can see, exactly what she says. She says that she came with an open heart. She came to listen and she has no regrets about meeting them. So great. Now, in terms of the earrings, because on the show, she did say that she won her appeal and she still has some fighting it out to do. And so a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? So, because some people are like, she didn't win her appeal. That's not true. That's, misinformation, whatever. So basically, it went up to the higher courts, and the court determined that the earrings should have never been auctioned off because the trustee had not been able to prove that the earrings belonged to the trustee, right? The earrings, Erica is claiming the earrings belong to her, that they're her personal property, that the earrings were purchased, back in, I think it was like 99 or 2000, like they were purchased 2 decades ago. Then they were stolen at some point later in the 2000s. There was a replacement purchase that was made to buy this new pair of earrings, which were replacing the earrings that Erica originally had that were stolen, or that were reported stolen. So she's claiming like these earrings are mine and I'm entitled to them. And, we're on appeal for legal reasons, right? What those legal reasons are only between her and her attorney. But did the court say, Erica, these earrings are yours? No. Did the court say, bankruptcy trustee, these earrings belong to you and you can liquidate them? Also, no. So the books are so messy that they can't determine who owns the earrings or who is entitled to keep the earrings. There's also the argument that the earrings could potentially belong to the actual clients because there was money that was signed out of a client's trust account that was used to purchase those earrings. Now, again, it does get complicated when the settlement money is not entirely entitled to the client, because the representation deserves, or is, they get a cut of that. They get their commission. And typically in LA for cases like this, it's about a 40% commission. So 40% of that settlement that Tom negotiated for those Resolin patients, there was a drug called Resolin that they took, and they ended up getting sick from that drug. And so he was able to fight the pharmaceutical company that manufactures that drug, and he was able to win a settlement for them. So yes, let's say the settlement is $10, right? We're just trying to break it down into simple terms. If the settlement is $10 and Girardi Keese is entitled to 40% of that, then that means $4 of that $10 bill is entitled to the attorneys. I'm not saying I like this. I'm not saying this is legal, or not, I'm not saying that this is fair, but it is legal, and this is what clients agree to when they work with an attorney that takes on these contingency cases. So Girardi Keese was entitled to 40% of that settlement. Now they have to go through the books to determine what was the final settlement, what did the client agree to, what percentage has the client already received, and what percentage was entitled to Girardi Keese, and is that percentage technically what was used to purchase the earrings? Is a portion of that percentage what was used to purchase the earrings? Is the value more than what Girardi Keese was entitled to, and only a piece of that, only a chunk of that change is entitled to Girardi Keese? That's what the courts have to determine. The books are so messy that it's not easy to just determine that. And again, these were earrings that Erica got back in 99, 2000. Now, whether or not she should keep the earrings or get rid of the earrings, some people like Chris are like, she should just get rid of the earrings, or Garcelle said on the show, she should just get rid of the earrings to show that she shows empathy, right? Yes and no, because there are like you can have empathy. I think Erica meeting with the victims, I think her hearing them out, I think that shows empathy. Giving up all of your assets puts you in a really peculiar place legally. And that's kind of what Erica was saying. And these women were so hell bent on, these earrings don't belong to you, And now in a court of law, a judge has said, well, we don't know that. So these women jumping to those conclusions just goes to show that they weren't right. They're not lawyers. They're not attorneys. They don't understand the details of all of this. After hearing my man stole this stuff, I wouldn't want it. That's a great point. But once you give them the earrings, they're going to come after your house. They're going to come after your car. They're going to come after every single asset that you own to try and liquidate it. The other thing, too, is you have to understand when these assets get liquidated, that money is not guaranteed to go to the clients. There is a whole list of creditors. Those creditors are the ones that are entitled to that money. So that could be the banks, that could be other businessmen that lent Tom Girardi and Girardi Keese loans. So when people are like, just give it all up and pay the victims, it's not that easy, and it does not work that way. That money is not, I keep telling people, like, even if Erica gives up all of her assets, we don't even know if a victim gets $1 of those assets. You know why? Because the trustee gets a cut of that. They get to deduct all of their costs and expenses from this case as well. And then they have to pay the creditors that have a secured bond, right? That legally have some sort of entitlement to assets that Girardi Keese has. The victims don't have that security, right? Even though they may be entitled money, they don't have all of the paperwork that can prove that they're entitled to that money. Only two cases currently, which are the orphans and widows case and the burn victim, which is the Rui Gomez case. Those are the only two that are actual victims that have been able to prove their case before a judge, and a judge has said, yes, you're entitled to the settlement money. That's 2 out of many. So if those are the only cases, and both of them, as far as I'm aware, the Rui Gomez family is getting their settlement payments through the trustee, and the orphans and widows have already been paid off. That's a big piece that people forget to always bring up. They've received their money, okay? They've gotten paid. That is taken care of. There's not a dime that they are missing that they have not received yet, okay? That has already been settled and taken care of. Their attorney, Jay Edelson, is now pursuing, more money to try and get for the victims on top of, his own expenses that he's trying to get paid back as well. So he's fighting that in court. We'll see where that all plays out. But again, like, this money is not entitled to go to the victim, so it's not that simple. The attorneys are getting paid and the victims are going to never be made whole. That's a great point. So why would Erica just give up all of her assets for what? And then you see how in bed a lot of these other, players that were involved in this alleged embezzlement scheme that goes far beyond just Girardi Keese, that goes far beyond just Tom Girardi. He wasn't able to get away with this on his own. A lot of those players are still, dipping their hands in the pot. So they're getting a piece of that money too. So when everybody's like, Erica, just give up all your assets. Why? So that the men that were ripping off these victims can continue to profit off this case while using Erica as the scapegoat. Like, that's the part people don't really think about. But when you really put on your thinking caps and analyze this, it's a lot deeper than people realize. It's not as easy as Erica just hosting a benefit concert for the victims. Who are the victims? And, that's the other thing, is you have to determine who is considered a victim. What are they actually owed? What was the original settlement? What percentage was entitled to Girardi Keese? What percentage was entitled to the client? What money have they already received? What money do they feel like they're still entitled to beyond that? And now a lot of them want to just sue. People are just getting sue happy at this point because they're like, oh, well, Tom owes me money and Tom owes me money. And I think Tom owes me money. So you know what? Let's explore this further and let's see if I can get a dime out of this. So what is she going to do with the earrings? Wear them, sell them. They're going to haunt her. She doesn't have the earrings, remember? So the bankruptcy trustee, the earrings were in holding. They were in a safety deposit box. Erica didn't have them. The trustee didn't have them. They were in a safety deposit box, and they were just in this, limbo period. The trustee decided they were going to auction off the earrings and liquidate them. Those earrings were sold at a major discount to Mr. Ronald Richards. Ronald McDonald bought them for his knockoff wife, and she's out there rocking the earrings, and they're engraved saying Girardi on them. Weird, gross, whatever. They have a sick fetish or obsession with Erica. Cool, good for them. They bought the earrings at auction. They bid on the earrings. They won the auction. They got to keep the earrings. Erica does not get those earrings back. But what the judge determined is that those earrings should have never been sold to begin with, because the trustee has not been able to prove that Girardi Keese is entitled to keep those earrings. Again, it's up to the courts to decide, does Girardi Keese get to have the earrings? Does Erica get to have the earrings because they were originally her property? Or do the earrings belong to the actual Reslin patients that were, that got sick, that were Tom was representing, his clients? Are they the client's earrings? And if they are the client's earrings, now what happens? Now that the earrings have already been sold off, what is the value of those earrings and who gets that money? Like, is Erica going to get paid out because technically those earrings were hers? Do the victims then, or the former clients, the resident clients, do they get that chunk of money that the trustee has to pay out? Does the trustee get to keep that money? How do they divide that money? It's so layered and very complicated that it's just not as easy. We got hoodwinked into hearing another Erica Jane rant. We want to know about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, please. Okay, sorry. Listen, we were talking about the things, and people were like, it's easy, and the earrings and blah 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 blah. Erica does not have the earrings. Ronald Richards has the earrings. He bought them for his knockoff wife. We'll see how this all plays out in court. TBD. Okay, let's talk about Ultimate Girls Trip, because we have Gretchen Rossi, who is now speaking out about this. But so I did a little like recap on where the ladies actually stand with Caroline Manzo and where they stand with Brandi Glanville, which also, shout out to Ariana. Tonight is the premiere of Vanderpump Rules. I am crowning Lala Ken. I've seen the premiere already. It's great. I'm going to recap it with Josh from Louisiana on Wednesday evening on my YouTube channel. So you can tune in on YouTube to catch our live recap of Vanderpump Rules, the premiere Wednesday evening. Shout out to Ariana. She made her Broadway debut as Roxy Hart in Chicago. Woo, woo, get it, girl. Okay, let's get into Ultimate Girls Trip, because that's what you guys are here for. Where do the ladies stand with Caroline and Brandi? So Caroline is now suing Bravo over this alleged sexual assault. Remember, we have to say that alleged, because there has not been a case that has been proven in a court. There are no criminal charges that have been filed. Nobody has been arrested. And Brandi Glanville is very strongly denying these allegations. So we do have to be very careful with not jumping to conclusions. I think that we should absolutely believe victims, but we also need a legal system to play itself out. That's not to say, because a lot of people had a lot of things to say about my reaction to all of this. It's not to say we shouldn't believe victims, but you can't just believe one person's word. You have to take into account all of the details and all of the pieces at play here. And unfortunately, it does not look promising for Caroline Manzo. Okay. Now, on yesterday's episode of the podcast, we actually read through the documents, because a lot of people were saying, you need to read through the actual court documents to read what Caroline actually said. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I did it on the podcast. You can tune into that. We go into the pages, we read her detailed account of what she claims actually happened. Now, we do have some more information, but before we get into the actual details of the lawsuit, this is where each of the ladies stand with them, right? Because right after Morocco, it looked like the ladies were rallying behind Brandi. So in the lawsuit specifically, though, Caroline claims that the women were present for this alleged assault, and she specifically calls out Gretchen Rossi, Alex McCord, and she mentions Eva. She claims that when this alleged assault originally happened, it was on a couch in front of a snake charmer. And there was a moment where Brandi got a little too frisky with her, and then she went to go and hold the snake to distract herself. So again, as she's detailing this account, this we're assuming, right? Because if they're filming this snake charmer, then we're assuming cameras are on them all together at, in this moment, right? Cameras are filming all of this. If Brandi's making out with her and, they're being silly or whatever, and she's holding the snake, then we can just assume that the entire cast is there for this moment and they're witnessing exactly what's going down, right? Like I said, in the lawsuit, she mentions Gretchen Rossi, Alex McCord, and Eva. I believe it was around the snake charmer that she said Eva thought that Brandi was taking things a little too far. And then she details an incident that happened in the restroom with Brandi, Gretchen, and Alex present. And Alex was holding the door so that production couldn't come in because they didn't want to be filmed. They were just fooling around in the bathroom or whatever. They went to go wash their hands after holding the snakes. So their mics are still on, but at this point, there are no cameras on them in the bathroom. Okay. Caroline details this. She details it a lot deeper, or like it sounds a lot worse in her recollection of things in comparison to what we've heard from other sources and the fact that all of these women are still, you know, friendly with Brandi. So immediately after production wrapped last year, because this happened last January, so it's been a year now, exactly a year, Vicky, Phaedra, and Eva all showed their support for Brandi. They were posting on Instagram stories. And even when I checked, the entire Ultimate Girls Trip 4 Morocco cast all still follow Brandi Glanville on Instagram. So they're all keeping up with her. Eva, Vicky, Phaedra, Camille, Alex McCord, Gretchen Rossi. They're all following Brandi still and keeping up and engaging with her content. Gretchen and Alex are actually the only two that are still following Caroline Manzo on Instagram. However, Caroline Manzo only follows Alex McCord. So it looks like Alex McCord is the only thread of fabric Caroline has to the actual cast, because none of them seem to be having any sort of connection to Caroline after all of this went down. But they are all still in following Brandi, engaging with Brandi, and have been friendly with Brandi. Phaedra specifically has been spotted a couple of times hanging out with Brandi last summer, which was months after. I think this happened in July or August, and the show wrapped production in January. So what, 7-8 months later, you see Gretchen and Brandi and Phaedra. They all did a photo shoot together for People magazine. I believe that it was some sort of trip promotion that they were highlighting. But all three of them, so Gretchen and Phaedra, had no problem aligning with Brandi, remaining friendly with Brandi, being photographed with Brandi, doing a brand deal with Brandi. Alex McCord has continued to engage with Brandi's content on Instagram. And even when the Traders their casting department was nominated for an Emmy for outstanding casting on the show, Alex McCord commented and congratulated Brandi on that nomination, because she posted about it and she's like, yay, congrats to NBC. You're welcome. I was one of the breakout stars and you guys won for casting. You guys got an Emmy because of the cast. I was one of the main pillars on the cast of The Traders. So you're welcome, essentially. Alex congratulated Brandi on that. Camille has expressed wanting the show to air. She was tweeting up a story. She always tweets up a story, and we love her for it, right? But in some of her tweets, she was saying that she never witnessed any assault. From what she saw, she didn't see anything. We know Camille was not in the bathroom, but Camille, I'm assuming, would have been present for when Brandi was assaulting Caroline on the couch in front of the snake charmer, which was one of Caroline's allegations. And Camille said that there's nothing that she saw happen in Morocco that she hasn't seen in the many years that she's been on Housewives in the past. She said, everything that happened, I've seen this type of stuff. I've seen this type of behavior. I never witnessed any assaults. I never witnessed anybody, harming anybody else or making anyone feel uncomfortable. But, what I saw was, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but drunken debauchery. And she's like, this is what I've seen on Housewives for years. This is nothing new or out of the ordinary. So Gretchen Rossi responded on her Instagram stories on Monday. And she responded saying that she has so many thoughts, but ultimately she would be bummed if we don't get to see all of the fun and amazing things that they got to do. She says that the show overall is so good, and she says, roll the footage. She's very clear that she wants them to roll the footage. Camille expressed the same sentiment, saying she has seen pieces of the edits and she thinks it's really good and it's really funny, and she would love to see it air and would be bummed if it's true that they're scrapping it all together. So the cast, who was, according to Caroline, present and witnesses to all of these allegations, not to mention crew members, cameramen, producers, all seem to be rallying around Brandi. And I'm curious what everybody else's thoughts are, because it seems like all of these women are staying close to Brandi. And so a lot of people on social media were telling me, they're like, well, but they just are probably not, or they're just probably distancing themselves from Caroline to have a good relationship with the network. And I'm like, well, if that were true, then don't you think these women would distance themselves from Caroline and Brandi? If Brandi's problematic for the network and Caroline's suing the network and they want to maintain a healthy relationship with the network, don't you think they wouldn't just isolate Caroline? They would also isolate Brandi as well. How are there multiple people in the bathroom, but only Caroline retelling of it? That's the thing. They did an internal investigation, and the internal well, actually, let's get into that, because there's this account, great account, Thela. She has the Your Moms Are Watching Instagram account. She reported on this, or retold what her sources said, which are some of the same details that I got when this was all breaking. last year. But so she had just reposted this on her Instagram stories. You can check out. I believe it's in one of her highlights. But here's what she spilled. She said, actually, here, let me just read you exactly what she posted. I'll read you verbatim what was on her account. So she wrote, "It's the first day of girls' trip Morocco. Caroline had not yet arrived, and the other women were a little confused as to why she was even coming. In the mood to have fun and let loose, they just weren't sure she would vibe with them. It seemed strange that Caroline would even be interested in a girls' trip, as she had not done a show like this in years. The girls, at least some of them, were wary." I would imagine it would be the same thing with Alex McCord, though, right? Alex McCord hasn't been on the show in years. Gretchen Rossi hasn't been on the show in years. I guess Gretchen has a little bit more of a fun personality, but not a single person backing up Caroline's claims. That's the point, Jen Willow. Not a single person is backing. That's why when everyone's like, yes, believe victims, I'm like, yes, absolutely believe victims. But when the victim is claiming that there are multiple multiple witnesses, and none of those witnesses are vouching for her, you have to take that into consideration, because people are getting mad at me. They're like, you're sexist, and how can a man determine, how can a man know what it's like for a woman going through sexual assault? You have no clue. A man trying to tell a woman how to feel about being sexually assaulted. I'm like, first of all, that's not to say that men don't have experiences with sexual assault as well. Let's be very clear about that. I myself have experienced, more than a handful of occasions where, I had men make unwanted advances, touch me inappropriately, stick their hands down my pants without me consenting to that, inserting themselves in me without me consenting to that, or even after specifically saying no. I don't wear these things as, a victim or anything. Listen, I've had to work through some of them on my own, but that's not to say, my point being, I do understand sexual assault personally, and I don't think that gender should determine who is a better, who can have a stronger or better story or be a better victim in this. Like, it's just, you can't invalidate anybody's experience, especially not based off of gender, because men experience these things too. And if anything, there's a lot more shame around a man coming forth about being sexually assaulted than there is a woman, because I think we've created a little more space for women with the Me Too movement, with Time's Up movement, to be able to come forth. But I do think there is still a lot of shame that men deal with that have been sexually assaulted. So I don't like how people are preaching that, some of us should have more empathy when they lack so much empathy and are so misguided in their own judgment. But so the girls were weary of Caroline, according to Your Moms Are Watching. Caroline arrived hot. She immediately launched into a diatribe against her sister, Dina. She called Dina a whore and accused her of having multiple affairs on her first husband, a man Caroline had known and respected since he was 14 years old. Caroline said she wrote that letter for her brother-in-law to the court, supporting him after he was charged with hiring men to hurt Dina and her new beau, because she didn't believe he could do such a thing. And even if he did, she would drive him to jail herself. So Caroline is explaining all of this, right? She's talking about all of this while filming Ultimate Girls Trip about Dina, and why she decided to defend Dina's ex, who had been accused of hiring a hitman to come and beat up Dina and her new boyfriend. Caroline defended her ex, saying, I don't believe he would have hired anybody. I don't believe he would have done that. And now, Thila's explaining that Caroline was discussing this on the show as to why she didn't defend her sister, but she defended her sister's ex. One of the women said to Caroline, are you really calling your sister a whore? And Brandi spoke up next. She said Caroline should not talk so poorly of her own sister. Caroline got very angry at Brandi for this, and they allegedly had a big fight. This was still the afternoon of day one on the trip to Morocco. As Caroline and Brandi were fighting, Caroline broke into tears, sobbing and shaking as she told the group her father never spoke to her again after she sent that letter to the court, which was the letter that she sent in support of the ex, Dina's ex, rather than in support of Dina. Caroline broke into tears, sobbing, shaking, said her dad never spoke to her again. Caroline also went on to say, however, that her brother-in-law did cheat on Dina, but for every woman the brother-in-law cheated with, she claims Dina cheated with 5 men. So she's saying Dina cheated on the ex more than the ex cheated on Dina. I mean, damn, that's a pretty bold statement. Oh yeah, the ex cheated on my sister, but my sister slept with 5 dudes for every chick he banged. It became clear to some of the women that Caroline had come on the show to trash her sister. Interesting motive, right? Because like everybody said, it was interesting that Caroline even bothered to do Ultimate Girlship. It just felt so out of character for Caroline. Caroline and Brandi made up, and the fight was over. After that, everyone got along very well. They drank and partied all day. Caroline and Brandi had a lot to drink. Production brought in a snake charmer as the evening activity, and all the women were touching the snake and getting wild. Eventually, Caroline and Brandi started making out. Caroline said that she had been kissed by a girl before, but she had never kissed back. At one point, Brandi sits on Caroline's lap, kissing her, and one of the ladies asked Caroline if she was okay, and Caroline gave her a thumbs up. A good time was being had. A good time was being had by all. When the snake charmer left, some of the women went into the bathroom off of Gretchen's room to wash the snake skin off their hands. The bathroom was one room. There were no stalls or anywhere to hide. All the women were laughing and goofing around, and they shut the door so production could not get into the bathroom. There was nothing sexual going on in there. All the kissing between Brandi and Caroline had already happened. This entire time, Alex was holding the door with her foot so production could not enter. There was audio of what was happening inside the bathroom that allegedly just has a lot of laughter, and then someone, presumably Caroline, saying, "Stop that." Alex's foot is still on the door. Production finally comes in. Everyone seems fine, and they all go to bed happy. As the next morning, production came into Brandi's room and told her Caroline was alleging that Brandi touched her inappropriately in the bathroom, and Caroline wanted Brandi sent home or she would take legal action. Production said they tried to calm Caroline down by promising that they wouldn't air any of the footage of Brandi and Caroline kissing, but Caroline was insistent, so Brandi had to leave. Brandi was sent to a shoddy hotel in a dangerous part of town to spend the night alone until she left town the next day. She was confused because she knew they weren't fooling around in the bathroom and had no recollection of even touching Caroline in there, even in a joking manner. The rest played out in the media with Caroline publicly accusing Brandi of sexual assault and lawyers getting hired on both sides. Bravo forbid Brandi from promoting any shows she was on. She was not even allowed to attend the award show when The Traitors was nominated for an award. This was the Emmys. Bravo conducted an investigation, but there was no evidence of anything except for the audio with "Stop That" on it. So the investigation didn't lead anywhere. Lawyers are still hashing it out between Brandi and Caroline, with most of the cast, except for Alex, supporting Brandi. So it does appear that Alex is supporting Brandi with the fact that she congratulated her on the Emmy nomination for The Traitors. She still follows her. She still likes and engages with her content often. And then it goes on to say, Gretchen, Phaedra, and Brandi have all contended that there was no funny business in the bathroom and that Alex would not have kept the door shut on production if there was anything bad happening. Alex has not ever said that she saw anything. She is just standing by Caroline out of solidarity, likely because Caroline is talking about her previous trauma. And on top of that, Alex is a therapist, so I'm sure she's trying to be a support system for Caroline. That's my own addition. Everyone is surprised that Caroline is taking it this far. Some think that maybe she's trying to stop those kissing scenes from ever seeing the light of day, but nobody knows for sure. Last part of the story, legend has it Caroline was upset in her room the night of the snake charmer because she was worried her kids and her husband would have to see her kissing Brandi on TV. She seemed to panic about this and was very upset. These are all the reports that were shared by Your Moms Are Watching. Now, again, I heard from my own people outside of Your Moms Are Watching. And according to my sources and the bits that I heard that seemingly came from somebody that was a little more like pro Caroline in this situation, Brandi did text Caroline to apologize when she found out. She was like, "Whoa, I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable like that. Like, I don't remember any of this happening, but I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. Like, is there any way I can make it right or whatever?" I believe Caroline did not respond to that text message. Brandi was confused by the whole ordeal. Caroline did make a choice to sit down with the other women to discuss her previous assault as a child, and they did talk it all out. They did get very emotional about it. They held space for Caroline, based off of what she experienced as a child. Even Phaedra seemed a little hesitant when Caroline was dishing on all of this. Eva, from what I heard, was the most skeptical of Caroline's motives, and she allegedly made some sort of comment about people needing to take accountability for their own actions. So, Interesting. Again, all of the women seem to be rallying around Brandi more than they're getting behind Caroline. And I think if they're trying to have a good relationship with the network, I think they would distance themselves from all of this. But they are definitely like in support of wanting the show to air and wanting people to watch the show. And it seems like they're all pretty confident that none of them witnessed what Caroline has claimed they should have witnessed, because they should have had a full view of what was going on. I think Caroline's legal team is hoping that they'll just settle and pay her out and not air the show. It's just interesting. No wonder they are still behind Brandi. So much control and punishment by corporate and lawyers. Rage and regret for Caroline is her MO. I mean, I don't know. I would love for someone to ask on camera what Caroline expected a Bravo show called Ultimate Girls Trip was going to be about. Knitting, crochet. Well, I think I think the theory is that it does sound like it's possible that she came on the show to address the Dina stuff, and then maybe she got a little too carried away with what she revealed, regretted what she said, was hoping she could take it back, but you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I don't know. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think after hearing all of the cast supporting Caroline, after hearing these other details that I heard that your moms are watching heard. I'm curious if this changes anybody's opinion of it. Again, there is nobody that is backing up Caroline's version of events, and the investigation that was done came up inconclusive because they didn't have anything. In Caroline's lawsuit, she claims that she was screaming, "Help, help, help," as Brandi had her pinned against the door in the bathroom. Now, according to Your Moms Are Watching, it sounds like Phaedra was also in the bathroom. Gretchen, we know, is in the bathroom, according to Caroline's statement. And Alex McCord was in the bathroom, according to Caroline's statement. So if they were all in the bathroom, and again, it was a one-person bathroom, there were no stalls in there. Alex was just blocking the door so that production couldn't get in and film them while they were in the bathroom together. So interesting. Based on what she said about Dina and then the kissing with Brandi, I think Caroline was fully triggered and put Brandi in a box of the past trauma assault she experienced. Multiple things can be true at the same time, and I think Caroline has a lot of anxiety. Probably. Listen, I think so. I think she regrets what she said about Dina. She doesn't want that to get out there because she knows it's going to cause a lot more, media controversy. She doesn't want any of the kissing out there. I'm pretty sure being in that experience being in that experience um, was triggering for her. And I don't want to take that away from her, but being triggered by an experience doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else assaulted you. It means that you were triggered by an experience. And I don't think that it's other people's responsibilities to, if they're unaware of your triggers. Listen, if somebody knows what your triggers are and they're intentionally trying to poke at that, that's different. But if somebody, unbeknownst to them, happens to trigger you in some way, that's not their responsibility. That just happens to be, something that has happened. Jackie, if you email, for those of you that are saying that your merch hasn't arrived yet. If you email, sorry guys, I don't personally handle that. I apologize if there are any delays. Like I said, they were print on demand. We have a bunch of stock that we have available for live shows, but we did decide to outsource the online orders to make international shipping an option for people. If you do have a delay, then just go back to your confirmation email, and there should be an email address that you can reach out to about that delay. I apologize if there are any delays. I've tried to be on my team to look into that and figure out what's going on with some of these merch delays. I do apologize about that, guys. Actually, let me handle that right now. Okay. So hopefully, oh, there we go. Look at Arik just said her hoodie arrived today in Norway. So soft. Aren't they so soft? See, I make sure we put out good merch. It is good. It is arriving. I'm not trying to Jen Shaw anybody. I'm not trying to scam anybody, but I'm personally not fulfilling the orders. But I just text my manager, and hopefully for anyone that does have any delays, guys, please just reach out to the confirmation email. These are being printed on demand. So as you order them, they are being manufactured from that point moving forward. The stock that we have reserved for live events, but it is the same manufacturer. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. If any of these new details have changed your perception on the situation, if it's changed your perspective about Caroline or about Brandi or about whether or not you think the show should air or not. But as we are approaching Valentine's Day, listen, if you're looking for that perfect gift for that special someone, or maybe you're still trying to find out what outfit you need to wear for an upcoming date, whatever you're looking for this Valentine's Day, Quince has you covered with luxury essentials at affordable prices that I know you will love. Like me, I got this sexy motorcycle jacket. It's a sexy leather jacket. I'm like, ooh, looking so hot. I'm going to wear this to the Bourbon Room at my live show on Valentine's Day. So this will be part of my Valentine's Day attire, which hopefully you guys have stocked up for your Valentine's Day wardrobe, or maybe for a cute gift for your boo thing or your mistress or your BFF, because we love Galentine's Day as well. Quince creates timeless essentials that never go out of style, so you'll have them in your closet forever. I can speak to the quality. This is good quality. From all of the clothes that I've ordered from Quince, super high quality. It's not like that fast fashion stuff. Like, it's actually premium clothes. So for you or for someone special, Quince has all the must-haves, like 100% Mongolian cashmere crewneck sweaters from $50, 100% leather jackets, and even fine jewelry. Give yourself or others the gift of luxury this Valentine's Day with Quince. Go to quince.com/nofilter for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE, quince.com/nofilter, and get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/nofilter. Also link in the description below. But also, not just the clothes we wear, but I also like good quality comfort while I sleep. And could you just imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt? Now imagine them getting softer with every wash. With Ball and Branch sheets, you can discover this new level of softness. In a recent customer survey, 96% said that Ball and Branch sheets get softer with every wash. I can attest to it. I got their new oatmeal colored sheets, and they are so comfy. These sheets are made with the rarest 100% organic cotton in a buttery and breathable weave that gets softer and softer over time. Literally with every wash, they get softer. They're already comfy, but like they're pillowcases, and it's good on your hair and good on your skin. And just like, oh, so yummy. You can feel the difference with their 30-night worry-free guarantee. So if you want to sleep better at night with the softest sheets from Ball and Branch, get 15% off your first order when you use promo code NOFILTER at ballandbranch.com. That's Ball and Branch, BOLL and Branch, BRANCH, Ball and Branch, BOLL, ballandbranch.com, and use promo code NOFILTER. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Okay. What are your other thoughts about Caroline and Brandi? Zack, I applaud you in your approach to such sensitive topic. Empathetic, honest, considerate, and extremely professional. Well done. Thank you, Mimir. Listen, I try to. I get dragged for it, regardless of what I say or what I do or which team I pick or if I'm too biased or not biased enough and not objective enough. Listen, all I can do is be me and give you my real, true thoughts. Kelly Flower says Dina and Caroline haven't talked in over a decade. I'm wondering why that's even being brought up. Well, I think because it's being brought up now because she hasn't addressed the fact that she publicly supported Dina's ex-husband, right? It was her ex-husband. So, yeah, it was interesting when we all saw that she wrote a letter in support of the ex-husband saying that she didn't believe that he would ever hire anybody to harm Dina or her new boyfriend. Which, again, I don't know. This is not fair. I really wanted to see Alex and Gretchen, but really, Alex, I know this was Alex's first time back on Bravo, which is crazy. Why hide from production? You mean the ladies? Why hide from production when they were in the bathroom? Why? I don't know. Do you want cameras on you when you're pissing in the bathroom, washing your hands or freshening up or whatever? JB. I don't know. If I were in the bathroom, I wouldn't want cameras following me, and sometimes they do follow you, so I would understand why they would not want to. Keg says, I don't know what went down. I don't judge others for being free with their sexuality, but it crosses a line when your words or actions affect others. That is true. That is very true. I think that's what gets brought up on Ultimate Girls Trip and starts the conversation about Dina and Caroline writing a letter for Tommy. Yeah. Oy, oy, oy. Well, it's a lot. And hopefully, I mean, my thought was we're either going to see the network settle with Caroline. And if they do settle with Caroline, then I'm hoping there may be a chance that they would air the show, because I'm assuming they would have her sign some sort of paperwork saying, all right, we're settling with you, but after this, you can't come after us. And, you know, whatever. And putting some sort of disclaimer when they air the show that Caroline declined to be interviewed for any confessionals. But I mean, listen, Brandi's very much like, release the footage. She feels vindicated. How many in a small bathroom keep production out by alarm? You said. They said it was like, I'm assuming they said it was great. Gretchen's bathroom for her room. So I'm assuming like a regular standard bathroom. Zach, it's a lot. Great coverage. Thank you. This is oh yeah. A lot is suspect. Caroline used to be my favorite, but not so much anymore. That's the thing, is it's just when you really like, if you just believe Caroline's story, traumatic, horrible, awful, right? If what she is claiming really went down the way that it went down, that's horrible. And like, nobody should ever have to go through that. And the fact that all of these people were complicit and just stood by as all of this was happening, absolutely terrible, right? Justice for Caroline. But when you add in all of the other elements and all the other factors, it doesn't add up. And there are pieces that still bring up so many other questions. And I don't think it's invalid for us to have those questions when it's not adding up. Something about the story just doesn't add up. You know, it's hard to believe everyone stood there and did absolutely nothing. It's hard to believe Alex stood there and did nothing in the bathroom. It's hard to believe Gretchen stood there and claims that, you know, like none of them, all of these people that were there, production, crew members, producers, cast members, nobody, from my understanding, has backed up Caroline's account of this. But when somebody's, you know, says something so strongly, then yeah, you're going to have, that's why an investigation would come up inconclusive, because one person is saying this absolutely happened, but then everybody else is saying, but this didn't happen. And then you do have that one bit of the audio where somebody says, stop that. And it's unclear who said stop that. Somebody said stop that. And we don't know in the context in which it was said, with the cadence that it was said. Was it said lightheartedly? Was it said very seriously? Again, stop that. No means no, you know, all, you know, consent. But according to Brandi, she doesn't remember anything really happening in the bathroom. Like, and it's interesting, like, I don't know if I can really see like Brandi picking Caroline and pushing her up against a wall, and like, I don't know. And all these women kind of just watching tall Brandi shove Caroline against a wall and hold her down as she's saying, help, 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 which is what Caroline details in the lawsuit. It's interesting. I don't know. Curious what your thoughts are. Keep letting me know how you're feeling about all of this and whether your opinion has changed in the past couple of days. Let's move on to Beverly Hills. We have Kyle and Morgan. And some people were speculating. Someone pointed out to me that it looks like Kyle and Morgan seemingly have deleted all their photos of each other on Instagram. And I looked into it, and it looks like Morgan just cleaned out her feed to only promote her latest like single. She's promoting her music, so she deleted all personal photos. I've never followed Morgan, so I didn't see. I know she's posted stuff in the past, but for whatever reason, she's completely cleared all of her feed. And it looks like she probably just, you know, was trying to focus on her new single. Kyle, on the other hand, it looked like didn't have any photos of Morgan on her feed either, except for a photo that she has of Morgan and Kim at Lorene's celebration of life. But when you pay more attention to the feed, you can see that she still has the behind the scenes photo from the music video she did with Morgan. I'm gonna make you fall in love with me. So she still has that up there. She still has a lot of other carousel photos where if you scroll through them, you can see Morgan Wade is still in those photos and still tagged in those photos. They're still following each other on Instagram. So it looks like even though Morgan has cleared out her feed, it doesn't look like it was specific to Kyle. And Kyle does still have photos of Morgan on her feed. So I don't know. They both still follow each other. It looks like this was some low budget speculation, and I don't think they're actually. I think they are still friends, but Morgan's probably just trying to live a little bit more of a quieter life now that this is all airing on the show and there's speculation. Are they lesbians? Are they scissor sisters? Like, we're all trying to make sense of it all, but hopefully by the end of it, we can have some sort of answers. I think Alex, Gretchen, and Phaedra weren't aware how Caroline was feeling. I think it's understandable that Brandi wouldn't pick up on Caroline feeling assaulted. Possibly. But again, from my recollection, it wasn't that Caroline felt assaulted. It was that her experience with Brandi was triggering for her. So the narrative has shifted from I felt triggered to I am now saying that I was assaulted. And so I think that there is, even though the line is very thin, I do think there is a difference between the two. Feeling triggered by somebody and being assaulted by somebody, I don't think are synonymous. In my personal opinion, other people can disagree, and that's totally valid. If Brandi were going to do that, she would have done it on camera where she can benefit from it. That's a good point, Jacqueline. Caroline feeling that way is totally reasonable based off of her past trauma, but not everyone feels the same way, and you can't expect others. That's true. Very true. Can't expect them to know how you feel. But again, at what point do we go from my truth to the objective truth? Because if multiple people are there and they all witness something or they don't witness something, but one person claims that this is their experience, very much like what we see Crystal do a lot in Beverly Hills of like, this is my truth, this is my experience. But there are differences between your truth and an objective truth. The way you observe things, the way you react to things, the way you experience something can be very different from the way a collective might feel about an experience, you know? Um, yeah, I'm not trying to take the experience away from Caroline. I'm just saying there's a lot of pieces that just don't entirely add up from what was done, from what was said then. And, you know, your truth does not equal reality. Exactly. Your truth does not equal reality. And too many people get caught up in, well, that's my truth. That's my opinion. So, again, your truth does not mean that is the reality of what is happening when you're involving the court of law. Exactly. The court of law tries to be as objective as it can be. So they will bring in witnesses. They will do a full investigation. And if there's no evidence, if this moves to trial, which it may look like NBC may be fighting Caroline. And if they do, they will air the footage, or not air it, but they'll show the footage in court. They'll release the audio. They'll have the other women's statements that they'll bring up as evidence as well. And what happens then? Do you think Caroline's going to win her lawsuit when they drop the audio, they drop the footage, and they drop all the other women's testimonies of what they witnessed happening? Again, there have been no legal ramifications for Brandi. She hasn't been arrested. She hasn't been charged with anything. Caroline is not pressing charges against Brandi for this alleged assault either. So it's interesting. Crystal is also easily triggered. I am too. Takes a lot of management sometimes. Listen, we're all triggered. We all have things that will trigger past experiences, past traumas. You know, we all have to work through those. I don't think there's any shame in that. I just think, you know, those are things that we are all actively working on, just like depression and anxiety. I think we all struggle with that to some degree, some people more debilitating than others. But I think these are all things that we struggle with and that we can relate to and can have empathy towards each other for. I need Laser to account whether or not Brandi yelled she wanted to fuck him. Um, yeah, that was a weird piece that she left into her not testimony, but she left into her statement where she was detailing what she remembers happening about Brandi randomly yelling out to one of the producers, Laser, that I believe Brandi has since been in touch with Laser, and Laser has since like come out in defense of Brandi in regard to that, because that was one of the things that Caroline mentioned was that, oh, she yelled to one of the producers that she wanted to fuck them. Okay, does that make Brandi some sort of sexual predator that's going to now assault all the crew members? No. Especially, you're on ultimate girls trip. You guys are getting drunk. You're being silly. You're on vacation. Like, I don't, not to say that like that deserves assault or anything, but it's just like you say dumb, stupid shit. You have like, think about when you go have girls' nights with your friends. Are you not like, oh my God, that waiter's so hot? In Beverly Hills, when the chef came out and Garcelle and Erica were like, oh my God, let's tag team him. That doesn't mean that they're predators that are going to, you know, tag team him beyond his will in the bathroom. So yeah. Caroline isn't money hungry. She's got plenty. I mean, we're assuming that she has money. I didn't think that this was more about money. I think it was more about her trying to conceal the footage, or at least that was my initial thought, was she wanted the footage to not get out there. And it was more about her trying to conceal that, her getting some sort of cash payout. Not that she needs the money, but I think, trust me, a big settlement from NBC, nobody's going to turn that down. It would be hard to press charges for something that happened in a different country. No, I'm sure it's not easy to, but I'm saying the fact that Caroline has taken no action against Brandi, especially considering the degree of the assaults that she's claiming, to me, something about that feels off. That there has been nothing that she's wanted, from what we've seen or from what we've heard, aside from the crucifixion in the press. It doesn't seem like Caroline has any sort of interest in going after Brandi for anything, even though Brandi is the one that committed this alleged assault. You would think something would want to be something would want to be done. Okay, well, that's Erica, that's Kyle and Morgan, that's the ultimate girls trip drama. Drop a comment below if you have any additional thoughts. And thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode, or today's all-new episode of No Filter with Zack Peter. I'm here every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with bonus episodes on Fridays. Or if you're a member on YouTube, then you can definitely tune in Thursday evenings for our members-only live streams that get uploaded on Friday mornings. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. You can give me a follow at Just Plain Zack all over the internet. Get your tickets to my No Filter Night of Love on Valentine's Day at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood. February 14th on Valentine's Day. You can go to nofilterlive.com, nofilterlive.com to get your tickets. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the 5-star reviews. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Happy Tuesday. I'll chat with you on Hump Day. All right. Love you guys. Ciao for now. Bye, 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 bye.